Welcome back. In this section, we are going to talk about the real world use cases, the application of robust anomaly detection techniques to real world use cases. In our case, we are considering the structural health monitoring of bridges. Let's get started. Firstly, let us look at the motivation for the structural health monitoring of bridges. Bridges are a very critical part of country's infrastructure. They are expensive to build and maintain. And this slides presents few bridge collapses during recent times. More recently in Italy and Japan, while the Minneapolis Bridge collapsed dating back to 2007. Bridge collapses could cause severe damage to life and property, and hence it is very critical for monitoring the structural health of bridges. Structural health monitoring of bridges facilitates to infer the changes which may have occurred in the structural characteristics of the bridges by monitoring its behavior and detect any damages caused. So it's mainly about the damage identification. The damage identification could be classified into 4 different levels. Level 1 being the detection, as to first actually detect is the damage present, and level 2 being the localization, where is the actual damage present, and level 3 related to the assessment, how severe is the damage present, and level 4 is a prediction. When will the structure or any part of the bridge which is having some damage would fail. Our anomaly detection techniques mainly focuses on the level 1, that is the detection. Is the damage actually present? Well, the damage identification techniques can be classified into 2 types, mainly the model based and data driven approach. In case of the model driven approach, the numerical model simulating the bridge structural conditions are built, and the state changes of the bridges are tracked by monitoring the related physical parameters of the bridge structures. If the numerical models do not weigh in the relevant physical properties of the bridge, the model may not capture all the dynamics of the structure, rendering the model unreliable and less accurate. In recent times, data-driven approaches which establish a model from sensing data which have been acquired have seen increasing adoption due to its high reliability and wide acceptance by asset managers. It's been considered as a proactive tool for maintenance of bridges and other civil structures. Our approach, using both traditional as well as deep models from a machine learning perspective, is to detect the structural damage within the bridges. And the main challenge in such type of problems is the availability of the data corresponding to a damage. It's quite often not quite easy to obtain the data related to the damage, and hence it is very only healthy data is available. Hence, one class machine learning models are more suitable in this scenario, and the performance of these models will be of these one class models will be evaluated in the later part of will be presented in the later part of the talk. Well, the structural health monitoring, the machine learning flowchart is presented in this slide. Initially, over the bridge, let us consider there is a traffic flowing on the bridges where a heavy bus or a car may be moving on top of the bridges, which causes the excitation. You could see in the diagram there, we have the data acquisition model, which consists of sensors being strategically placed at relevant positions to capture the excitation. And once the data is captured, the relevant features are extracted for both physical models as well as data-driven models. Several data fusion techniques have also been applied in order to extract the relevant features. And on training the relevant machine learning models, suitable health score will be derived to present the current health condition of the bridges, and then the asset managers would be taking relevant decisions for the time-based maintenance of the assets which are present depending on the health score which is presented. Let's look at the case studies which we'll be considering in this in our discussion. So we mainly focus on 2 types of structures. One is a real structure, the iconic Sydney Harbour Bridge. There are about 800 joints which are being monitored, and this slide shows you a couple of joints. The one which is the one with the red crack, which is already known crack, which is present, which presents us an opportunity to collect the damage data. So every joint has 3 sensors as shown in the diagram, and the data is collected at every 375 hertz for about 1.6 seconds, and there is a one damage which is already known at one location, which helps us to capture the data related to the damage, or in our case the anomalous data. And the other set of experiments what we have conducted is considering a bookshelf based structure. It's a lab based building which consists of 24 sensors, and each floor has 8 sensors, so spread across different corners of the floor, and the data is sampled here at 1600 hertz, and the damage is introduced at 2 locations by slightly loosening the bolts at 2 different locations. Well, this is a simulated structure which could as well be monitored within the laboratory conditions. So considering the system of the structural health monitoring of the iconic Sydney Harbour Bridge, so it shows the node or the module which are placed on top of at the joints to collect the data, and an inbuilt comms and the power supply is also being provided for the operation of the nodes. So as mentioned previously, there are about 800 joints which are monitored, and the data collected through these nodes are further transferred to the remote database server. So we have two modes of data transmission. So one is the real-time data which is collected from the node, which is sent across to the algorithms to compute the health score, and a dashboard is presented with the relevant health score based on the real-time data, and also the data collected is further sent in batches to the remote database server, which could further be analyzed, which could form a good input for the researchers to apply their algorithms and to apply their algorithms. So there are currently 2 types of data which is actually collected. The one is the actual monitoring data, and the other one is the historical data, which is sent in batches in near real time in batches. So as shown here, there are about earlier we are trying to monitor the lane 7, which was earlier a tram line which was converted into a bus lane, and the excitation caused due to the movement of any vehicle on this lane is monitored and sent across for the health score computation. And the node which is placed on at one of the joint is also shown in the figure. For the experiments, we consider the two joint on the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the bookshelf. The experiments related to the bookshelf was presented in section 2 when we were discussing the autoencoders, and the features which are extracted could be directly used as raw features, or it could be transformed into by applying the FFT or the frequency fast Fourier transform features, in which case it is just half of the raw dimensions of the raw features which would be considered, and the methods applied and compared against are the one-class support vector machines and the autoencoder, the robust autoencoder techniques, and the one-class neural network, as well as the one-class SVTD, both the soft and as well as the hard margin one-class SVTD approaches. So here in this slide presents the feature set, which the raw features once obtained are normalized using the z-score. And after applying the z-score, it could be directly used, or it could be processed through a FFT filter to obtain the FFT features. And the dimensionality of both the raw and the FFT features are described in this slide in the table A and the table B, as shown in the slide for reference. So here we present the results of the various techniques applied on the two joint Sydney Harbour Bridge datasets. I would be explaining the experiments conducted within the notebook in the hands-on part of this section, wherein we will go through the code and all of the techniques which uses the data mentioned in this table. And here we can see the robust technique slightly outperforms the other techniques, and especially for the bookshelf data set, while the simple autoencoder based techniques seem to perform well in case of Sydney Harbour Bridge two joint data sets. Well, the conclusion is the deep learning based techniques slightly offer slightly better performance than the one class SVM for the Sydney Harbour Bridge dataset. As far as the bookshelf dataset is concerned, the deep learning models outperform the traditional one class SVM model significantly, and the deep learning based models, the robust anomaly detection models, may serve as a good alternative for especially on the high dimensional data, structural health monitoring data for detecting anomalous or the damages present within the structures. Well, let's move on to the hands-on section to see the code functionality for all of these techniques mentioned. Thank you.